the session. Unfortunately, we missed the introduction, so Yvonne will not see the recording of the introduction of everyone, but you will get to know them. Yvonne, welcome. And now Vido and Anila, also Yvonne, please, if you could introduce yourselves quickly to the rest of the group because we have half new. Vido,
Sure.
would you like to start?
Yeah, I can go. Hi, guys. It's lovely to have you all here. So I'm Vidu. I grew up in Zambia. I was born in Ndola. My parents still live in Ndola, so I still consider Zambia home. But originally, my folks are from India. I've lived in England now for, I moved here to go to university in 1998. So I've been here for a little while. And as life would have it, my husband is English. So I hadn't ever planned to live in London, but there you go. That's how I've ended up in London and have been here since. I've done many jobs. So I was saying to the guys last week that I've been a teacher, I've worked in banking, I've worked in charity fundraising, and I'm about to go now and start a completely different career in exec search. So that feels like something quite special, but I'm really pleased to meet you. And I found last week's conversation really enriching, actually, and I've thought a lot about what we were talking about, a lot of what Yvonne and Anila and I said. So yeah, it was a really good session last week. I'm looking forward to the rest of them.
Thank you. Thank you, Vido.
Hi,
And
I can go
please,
next.
Anila.
Thank you so much, first of all, for Maria to making possible to be part of this conversation. So last week, it was so good. Myself, originally, actually, I'm from Pakistan, but now I'm living in Netherlands, and it was not planned because it just happened, and we claimed political asylum. And yeah, for my journey which I was doing in Pakistan for women's right and for gender and for so many things, it continue, and the new uh, activism layer came into my life is like refugee true representation in Europe. So I am involved on a global level, in a European level, representing what is refugees, or with the link of feminism, with the migration lens. It's been missing. So yes, last week I said I'm feeling so much at home and safe to share my so much trauma even and disappointment from Europe, being coming in developing countries like such like Pakistan and similar. So experience and witness same kind of hidden racism in Europe. So yes, so I'm happy to be part of this group.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashwarya. And Yvonne.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Yes, I agree. Last week was absolutely fantastic. I was pity everybody wasn't there because it would have been even more rich, but it was so rich. My name's Yvonne. I'm away from home, so feeling a bit disorientated. Um, yeah, I was born in London. I'm of Jamaican heritage. I work as a management consultant. I work across the private and the third sector, social enterprises and small business. I've worked internationally. What else do I need to say? Sorry, I'm playing a lot of arm, because I didn't think we are going to be introducing it again this week. We did it last week, but then new people have joined, so we're doing the same thing again. So I wasn't prepared, and I'm not always comfortable talking about myself. I'm on this course because I would like to develop my speaking skills and not say I'd like to also become more confident, more comfortable, I should say, talking about myself to strangers impromptu, and decide what my message is in this sort of setting. What do I actually want to say to people I don't know about myself? How do I want to introduce myself? How do I want to create a first impression? So I'm hoping to settle all these things where I'm comfortable, on the cuff, off the cuff, just to speak. I'm comfortable preparing to speak, but I'm not comfortable speaking off the cuff. Thank you. I'm done speaking. I think I'm in Clubhouse now, so I'm done speaking.
Thank you. Thank you, Yvonne. And thank you, ladies. Now we are starting the real thing. So, this is again our first session. I'll just change the view here. Our first session. And I hope that all of you have been through the lessons of the week. So I could see the videos of the ladies. The only videos I'm missing actually of Aggie, and she said she was not catching up, but also of Anila.
Apologize. Yes, it's like because of we're gonna have a summer break like next month, so many things we are catching up and preparing. So apologize, but I will make sure to do that. Yeah, as soon as.
Okay. So Anila, you were not able to go through the week lessons, right?
No, 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 not.
Okay. So can I have just a show of hand who did actually go through the week's lessons? Yeah, good. And Yvonne, did you? No?
I've done all the week,
Okay, you've done all the week. Perfect. Perfect.
each
So
day.
wonderful. So you have completed the sheets and you know exactly the things that are there. Now, this session, it will be a discussion around your own fears and limiting beliefs and all the challenges that you're facing. And this is how it will go. We might not have the chance to go with every one of you and talk about this a certain topic, but now I want to choose first whomever feels that there is one thing that even with the lessons it's still challenging, it still sounds challenging, and we start there and then we get more points from the rest of the ladies. So who thinks that I'm still struggling, I'm still challenged with certain fears or limiting beliefs or failure or the second guessing? So Maria, would you like to go, Maria?
I'm just going to say that what I can say about the fears is that I still don't know how to take a risk. That's, I mean, in this part, this is what I completed. It's not that I was able to complete like, oh, you know what, I have this fear and this is how I need to deal with it and this is how I did the mistake, etc. No, this specific part is only that I don't know how to take risks.
Okay, let's dive deeper into that. This is a very important point. Let's dive deeper. Tell me about a risk that you wanted to take.
Many things about my work, for instance. I would love, like even for women emerging from isolation, it was Julia who dragged me and put me in there. It's not that I wanted to take part, but I was like, I was just dragged. Like Julia said, you're taking over. So it was, but I was scared to say that, you know what, I'm always been interested in women. I want to be the program manager in women. I want to do that. And, you know, I also want, but I was like waiting for Julia to tell me, you're doing it. This is my decision. Even about my work.
Okay.
Or even about like my life. I always prefer to stay like in the safe zone instead of like taking risks.
Yeah. So if you remember the last time you faced this and still the thing is hanging, it means you're scared to take that risk, but you would like, and you still
Yes, of course.
Do you have
Definitely.
a specific thing?
Because I believe that when we're taking risks, like we will have failures. I cannot stand on the failure, though. But in the end, you know, like in the businesses, what I know is that when you start a business, the first thing which is going to happen, if the business is meant to be successful, you're going to fall down immediately. And then you're going to start climbing little by little. This is when the business is going to be successful. Or for instance, if the business, when you started, it goes like this, then it's not going to be successful and it will not last for years. Because if it will go like this, if it's going to start dropping a bit, you won't know how to deal with it. So failure is like a lesson which lets us be more strong in our lives and have more accomplishments. Now, theoretically, I'm very good. But in practice, the fear of the failure is the one which is actually stopping me from doing it.
Okay.
So yeah.
What's the consequences of the failure that you're seeing? Because it's not only the failure, it's not about dropping, it's about what happens when we drop.
But
When
just
you fall.
anxiety, and I don't like my anxiety. I'm already anxious from my nature. I don't like to be more anxious. It's like I'm already anxious. So if I'm going to be extra anxious, I don't know, probably I would just end up in the hospital like with a heart condition or something. So I've always been like, or for instance, when I'm speaking, even now that I'm speaking, my hands are getting sweaty. It doesn't seem in my face, but like I'm getting stressed.
What's anxiety, Maria, for you?
I've always had it. It's my father. Don't even ask. It's
What is
coming
it?
from there.
What is it?
Anxiety is a condition that you feel, which is connected, of course, with bad thoughts, and that's why it is created. And also the fear of doing a mistake and seeing the disappointment in other people's faces.
So the assumption of disappointment in other people's faces, I would say.
Don't like it.
Now, if you took whatever, what is it that something you want to do now and you're not able to do it? Tell me one thing.
Now. Right now.
Like recently, you wanted to do a risk you wanted to take, but you're not able to take it. To take it as an example here.
Oh, I just trying to remember. Risk. To be honest, I don't know. It's like because I don't want to take risks. They might even pass from my head, but I'm not even going to think about them extra. So there might be something which I wanted to, well, you know what, during COVID, I wanted to travel more and I didn't want to be afraid. This is something. I wanted to travel more and I didn't want to be afraid.
I didn't want to be afraid of COVID.
I took the risk to go to Italy because my partner is living in Italy. But seriously, like for the first 14 days, I was scared all the time for the symptoms. And when I came back, I was also scared of the symptoms. And I did the vaccine and I was scared of what the consequences would be. So these all things are like risks that I was forced to take because I had to take care of my own people. And I also wanted to see my partner. But it was not, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think here we talk, as we said before, that fear sometimes is useful. It's not always harmful. Sometimes we need to be scared. Sometimes we need to be locked at home and scared of the outside to be able to protect ourselves and protect our loved ones and protect our nation. Fear is not always a bad thing. But you wanted to be able to go outside. However, your conscious mind kind of stopped you because sorry, it's a scary situation for the whole world. It's not only for you. And if we are not scared, then we start acting carelessly. And if we're careless, then the world will be even worse than it is today. So this risk, maybe you were not meant to take with a calm heart. So not every single risk that we want to take is a risk that should be taken. And not every fear that's happening inside of us is a fear that we need to fight and get over. Because if we say, I want to go to in Africa to do safari in an open place where animals are walking around freely, then I get to feel afraid because there are animals who could harm me. So I have to be careful and follow the instructions literally step by step and not do anything outside of that because I want to stay safe. Because if I don't, then I could easily die. Anila, you wanted to say something.
Yes, I just want to share to Maria. I have a similar situation, but in totally different kind of choice, which I made because I last week I born as a fourth girl child, and in South Asian culture, if you born as a girl and the fourth girl, it mean you are not wanted. No one asks for your opinion at all, and this gave me a push from my childhood to jump in and take the risk and to just grab the opportunity whatever I had. And but what happens still is happening. I jump into so many things. I take risk so much, like even out of my natural capacity. I just say, okay, I can do this. I will do this because I have been not given any kind of opportunity. So from my childhood, my education, my marriage, my work, it's like I become first who grabbed that opportunity, fought for that opportunity. And I receive hundreds of rejection, still getting rejection, especially becoming like a brown Muslim woman in Europe. So I feel I have like a I shake sometimes because English is not my mother tongue, and in India their English is very good. So all the Indian fellows, we love your English, and in Pakistan we don't even taught English languages. So people laughed at me. They make fun of me. Still, I feel like you are not giving sentence. What you are saying, your pronunciation not good. But I said damn care. And as you said, my thumb, my hands, my palms get sweats, my legs shaky, but it's like totally same feeling but in a different position because I jump in every opportunity. So I just want to share that.
Yes, this is amazing. Thank you, Anila. And just mentioning that and mentioning the symptoms, there's something that I I want to share with you. Now, I had all of these symptoms, and very clearly, in a way that if I stand and speak, my legs will be shaking, that I will be afraid that I would fall. Really, literally. And my voice will start to shake with it. But the thing is it anxiety or excitement? Because scientifically, both of them feel exactly the same for our body, but it's up to us to decide what it is. Do we call it anxiety or excitement? Have you, if you remember when you were a child and it was almost, I don't know if you celebrate Christmas or Eid or whatever, how would it be the day before, the night before? I remember for myself, I did not sleep at night back then because I have a new dress and I'm going to meet new people or my relatives that I haven't seen for a year. And I will I will do my hair and all of these things. And I get toys and money, cash, and so many things. It's very exciting. So my heartbeat will raise a bit and I become excited that I cannot even sleep and I wake up very tired the next morning. But I knew it's excitement. It never bothered me. But then when we grow older, we started to learn the word anxious and put all of the same symptoms into the category of anxiety. Now I'm anxious, now I'm anxious. Although if you're just choosing to, you can say, I'm excited. So you have peace with the symptoms. You're not fighting the symptoms. And when you don't fight the symptoms, you live with the symptoms until they fade because it becomes normal, more of a normal. If you have Eid every day, if you have Christmas every day, it's not something special anymore. So you stop being excited about it. And it's the same with either taking risks or speaking to people. If you do it every single day, or if you do it every single month or every single week, whatever, if you do it frequently, it stops becoming too special and your body will deal with it normally. But the problem that we do is when we call it anxiety and we get bothered with the symptoms, not with the feeling, with actually the symptoms, then the symptoms will have a higher impact on us. This is what happens. Have you ever been too bothered with you coughing if you're sick? You're bothered with the pain, but if you're coughing in a meeting, then you have nothing to do with it. It's normal. People do cough or sneeze. It's okay. Now, if you have allergy and you sneeze a lot, you get uncomfortable because you think that other people will feel the same. But a normal reaction of our body for a certain thing, we consider it normal and we don't feel ashamed with it. But if we start feeling that, okay, this cough is becoming too annoying and people will get annoyed by it and I have to leave the room and so on, it will stick even more sometimes. You start to fight it, that it hangs on longer. And that's what happens exactly with the symptoms. So I would want to invite you actually the next time you feel these symptoms, And I'm talking from experience. The next time you feel these symptoms, just say, okay, I'm excited. When we are excited, everything has a special taste. If Christmas comes or Eid comes without excitement, then we will feel it's normal, and we will get even bored by it. But this excitement is what makes us really feel that we are up to something special. So maybe we put a little extra effort in making it even better. If it feels nothing, then it's really deep inside. If it feels nothing physically, sometimes deep inside it feels nothing to us. So what I'm saying here is the chance of embracing the symptoms until you don't see them anymore. Because as long as you see them, they're exciting. I feel this every time that I need to travel to a new country, although I used to travel so much. But every time I'm up to another travel, I would feel that again. Because I know I'm going to a new place, or a place I love so much that's different from where I live, and I meet new people, and it's exciting. So labeling things right. This is one of the most important keys. How does it sound for you, Maria?
Sounds great. It needs a lot of work, definitely. And you know what I thought from what you said is that when we were children, we were not having that many negative thoughts. Most of our thoughts were connected, like you mentioned, to Christmas, to, you know, how we're going to have a travel or a trip. The more we grow older, the more scared we're becoming. The more negative thoughts are coming over. And this is because I think from the experiences that we had from the childhood to our today's life. So when we're going to take a decision, we're going to think it twice or three times, and many thoughts are going to come there. And the excitement, which was supposed to be, like, for instance, excitement for a new project. It's a new project, why not? It's going to come, is it going to be successful? Because we had experiences in our lives which showed us that not everything can be successful. Or about having a trip. I love having a trips, but it's like, you know, we're going to a new country. You're going to safari, for instance. What if one of the animals is going to get loose and he's going to come over you just straight ahead? Or, for instance, a thing that I thought immediately was that when I was younger, I was like, you know, the first time I fell in love with somebody. And I was so excited, you cannot imagine. Now, if I would have like feelings for somebody else until I would get to know him, I would be so stressed, but I would be facing the same feelings that when I was like excited back then. But back then, I didn't know that the relationships cannot always last. I didn't know that, like, in my head was like, they lived happily ever after. So after like the experiences that you have in your life, then you're thinking that, you know what, sometimes happily ever after, it's not there. Or even if, for instance, you're going to take a step and get married, are you sure that this marriage is going to work? We're living in a totally different society. But for instance, I love my partner and I want to live the rest of my life with him, and I'm getting excited every time I spend time with him and he's coming home from work, for instance. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, like, is this going to be the same thing after a few years? Or I'm going to see him saying, he's back. So it's like, it's like many things which I believe that in the end, maybe we should stay connected with the society because we need the society to be together. But on the other hand, maybe we should disconnect at the same time from some of the things which are happening in the society, because the society can also make us feel bad while we should be feeling good for our lives.
Here is a very important point that you mentioned. Can the society make us feel bad, or do we choose to feel bad out of the society's reaction? Because what we think is up to us. What the society do is up to the society. if somebody wants to make you feel sad, they can do whatever they want, but it's up to you to feel sad about it or not. So the society does not make us do anything or feel anything. We choose to. This is our own freedom. And here I would like actually to share with you all something that happened yesterday. Now, I'm a person who's scared of all animals since I was a child. All other creatures other than humans. I don't know why. I don't have a story about it when I was a child. I've never been bitten by anything or attacked or anything, but maybe it's because I was very conscious of the stories I hear from other people. This one has been attacked, this one has been bitten, and all of these. And yesterday, unfortunately, my little daughter, who's almost 3 years old now, is kind of getting that a little bit from me. She didn't have fear in the beginning of animals, she loved them, and then slowly, when she sees my reaction when I see a cat or a dog, she starts to get it. So yesterday we decided to go horse riding, and I've never been on top of any animal in my life. Never. There are camels here and horses, and people do that for leisure, and I've never done that. So when we went to the place, to the club, our friend went first with her child, and then I went on the horse. That was a huge step for me, to be on the horse. And then I said, being on the horse, feeling the heartbeats of the horse. I've never thought that I could feel the heartbeats of the horse under my legs. That was so weird. And it didn't feel comfortable. And I said, okay, I can't do it. But then, because my daughter was scared and she didn't want to come in my arms, I felt responsible. My husband was trying to persuade me, okay, just take the photo. So he put her in my arms. She was calm in my arms. And the idea was just for us to take a photo. But then we said, okay, let's move a little bit since we are settled. And in the trip, slowly walking, I started to tell her, you were a little scared, right? She was crying in the beginning before she comes to me. But then she calmed down in my arms. I told her, you were scared a little bit, right? She said, yes. I told her, I was scared a little bit as well. It's okay. We were both scared. Now we are both together and we are riding the horse. It's not so comfortable for us, but it's a step. So it's okay. Sometimes we try to solve all the fears at once, and we feel bad about them. We feel bad about our own emotions. But if we just say, it's okay, and one step at a time, and then we get used to it, so it's fine. And we were doing the round, and at the end of the round, I told the guy we were supposed to do 2 rounds. I told him 1 round is fine. Now the lesson I learned is that when she stepped out of the horse, she couldn't stop looking at horses and saying, I want to do that again. She was kind of pushing me, let's do it again, let's do it again. And I promised her when she's old enough, she will learn horse riding. But the thing is, as you said, when we were children, we don't think so much, but sometimes we do have anxiety. Even when we are children, we are scared, even when we are children, but we can overcome it quicker than an older person. But that doesn't mean that you can't overcome it when you're older. I wasn't comfortable on top of the horse because my mind was working. I feel his heartbeats. Now they're raising. Maybe, I don't know if that's my emotional intelligence happening with horses. Maybe he's not feeling comfortable. Maybe he's not liking me. Maybe if I hold too tight for him, he will be upset, and then he will do something crazy. And I have my daughter in my arms. What if we fall down? All of these movies were in my head all the time, but I was conscious of them. And I knew that there was someone who knows what he's doing, guiding the horse. So let me calm down. And I have a responsibility of my daughter to make her feel more comfortable. The point is, it's okay not to feel comfortable the first time and the second time. It's okay to resist a little bit in the beginning, but we don't make it a habit of resisting new things, of not doing things because we're scared. Because we know if we do them only once, they will open a door. And then if we do them twice, a bigger door and a bigger door, until it becomes a habit of taking risks. So rather than blaming ourselves for it so much, rather than thinking, okay, this is bad and I'm like that and I got this from my father or from my mom and I lived like that, I will continue doing that, and I am an actions person, and putting all of these labels on ourselves, just see ourselves as a human, like the little girl, like my daughter. I'm a little scared. It's okay. We take it one step at a time. We treat ourselves as our own little babies, and then things get easier. Please, Aggie. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to share a little experience. I'm very scared of water.
Mm-hmm.
So we went a holiday, as I said last week in Wales, and my son insisted we needed to go as a family to watch the dolphins in the ocean. And that meant going on the smaller boat. And the more he said it, I don't know whether it's because I've expressed my fear of water and what I'm scared of. And then he was assuring me, Mom, but we wouldn't let you drown, because I said, what happens? I can't swim. So if anything like this happens, what happened? No, but we can save you and all that. And the day came, I was thinking I wouldn't go, but I went in. And when I went in, and I really did enjoy it. So one thing I'm thinking, as you are saying, is at times to acknowledge our fears, and it's okay, as you have said, to be afraid, even at whatever age you are, and you share it. So the people around you will support you. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you, Aggie. Thank you. This is very important, because many times we think when we are strong, independent women, we shouldn't be scared, or we shouldn't share our fear. And we show that we are strong in front of everyone. So if we once shared our fear with anyone, our image in their eyes will drop. But it's not really the case. We are human, like any human, and every human has some weaknesses. If we hide our weaknesses and we don't want to share them, they take control. If we treat them like any normal human thing that we have as a sickness, like sickness, we don't need to hide that we had a flu, then they will pass like a flu. Yes, Yvonne, please.
Yeah, hello. I just pushed through a particular fear. I had a fear of driving on the motorway, and yesterday I drove 400 miles, 200 miles, yeah. And there were times when I was I had to breathe. I had to breathe through my fear. I've never liked. I'm not. Anyway, yeah, I'm used to driving in the city, but I'm not. I've never been comfortable going on the motorway, and I've avoided it for years. And I decided that now I've moved out of London, in order to liberate myself and give myself more freedom, I have to conquer this fear of the motorway. And I took several wrong turns. One of my fears also was getting lost. Driving in rural places and getting lost. In cities, I'm not, but I'm fine, absolutely fine. All day I'll drive, all day, all night. In rural country places, there are lots of roads with just either side, just fields. And I get, like really anxiety rid. Oh my God, if I get lost, what do I do? What do I do? Anyway, so yes, I'm literally in the midst of pushing, because I've got to then drive back again. As I said, I'm not at home, so I've got to steel myself for the return journey, And yeah, so for me, I'm in the midst of breaking through a really strong fear, which, has a lot of risks, physical risks, all sorts of risks. But I think it's something that I really must do. And I know that it will strengthen me in many, many other ways. I think I did the fire walk with, what's his name? And I did the other big thing I did was to hold a big snake. When I did my NLP training, David Bandler actually did it with him. And I held this huge snake. And with Anthony Robbins, a fire walk, because I just think to myself, there's no way I'm walking. I mean, I even said, I've no way I'm walking on that fire. I'm not doing it on those hot coals. And I did it. So I think it's important for us to push through our fears. The fire walk was 2012, and Bandler was around the same time. Yeah, so I think it's really important. So for me, I'm just doing that. I'm doing this motorway thing now. And just talking about it, I can feel the anxiety in my chest because I've got to get back on the motorways in a couple of days' time.
Yvonne, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing with us. If we go a little bit back to the firework and the snake, how did it feel while doing it?
I think when I was holding the snake, it felt so nice, and it was a beautiful animal. I love animals, especially wild animals who live freely. Let's put it that way. And there was somebody there. I felt supported because the person who had the snake was there. So I did it. The firewalk. Well, when I saw other people doing it, I thought, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And I think I felt the same way. I thought, well, women drive down the motorway all the time. Yes, there are lots of women I know who won't use the motorway. And yeah, and I just thought to myself, well, other people do it, and if not now, then when? And so what's going to happen? What's the worst thing? And then I thought, well, let's just do this. So yeah, I think that's how I look at it. I thought I would do it with support. So I looked for someone to travel with me, and there wasn't anybody available. I thought, I'm doing it anyway.
Yes.
So ideally, I didn't ask early enough because I planned to leave on Tuesday. I packed everything to leave on Tuesday. I ended up leaving yesterday. So yeah.
How did it feel while doing it yesterday?
Terrifying at times.
Mm-hmm.
I had to use breath work to calm myself down.
Mm-hmm.
When I took wrong turns, I just listened to sat nav and got myself back where I needed to be. So of course the journey took me about 2 hours longer than it would have done because I took so many wrong turnings and missed exits and stuff. But I think that's all part of the learning experience.
How did you feel when you arrived to your destination?
I felt exhilarated, yeah.
Would it be the same feeling if you got support?
If I had support, I think I would feel much, much better, it'd probably be less stressful. I don't know. But then I thought to myself, it'd be a distraction as well because I needed to concentrate and really learn. And probably with someone, I would be distracted. And I'm not sure that would be such a good thing. So this way I had the intensity of my own concentration and got to understand how people drive, change lanes, the attitude on the road, just lots of things that I probably would have missed. So yeah.
And also you would feel that you did it on your own without support, so it empowers you even more, right?
Yeah, even more. Yeah, but yeah, I suppose it's even more empowering. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Gosh, I not only did this, but I did this on my own. Because all the time I thought to myself, I'll do this with an experienced driver so that they could, and you know what I would have done? I would have gone into a lay-by, a service station. I said, you drive for the rest of the way, because that's what I would have done. I know for a fact it would have been, I wouldn't have driven all. If I had someone with me who's also a driver, I probably would have said, let's share it. When the anxiety takes over, I would just say, do you know, I had no choice.
Exactly. I think this is very important what you're doing here, and what we heard from Aggie, and all of these experiences that we still, no matter how old we are, throughout our lives, we keep pushing against fears and limiting beliefs and all of these things. And I'm actually proud to hear from both Yvonne and Aggie, because they're not ashamed of sharing their experiences. It's part of human nature, and it's empowering to say, I'm working on a certain fear and working on overcome it. And the journey never stops. We're never supermen or superwomen. We're never superwomen. We always have limiting beliefs. Even if we didn't see them today, tomorrow something will build up, and then we cross through it. We need to work on it. So this is amazing to see that you're still working on getting better and better. It's about growth. If we're just settled with who we are, and I see this so often with so many people who are even close to me, who would say, but I'm like that. I'm shy. I was born like that. I'm like that. I'm like my mom. I'm shy. No, I can't. I'm not an artist. I can't draw. I'm like that. I'm not I'm a musician. I can't hear music. I'm like that. We get settled with the comfortable thing and saying, I'm like this. It means, I think that's the most lazy thing we can do to ourselves, to say, I'm like that. It just says there's no work to be done. I surrender. Then I will just live how I see myself now. And that's it. And can you imagine how disempowering that is in our lives? But here we have stories of the amazing women who are trying to push harder and harder and harder with time, and taking it one step at a time, and yet enjoying the process and embracing themselves while doing that. Not saying, why am I scared of roading this? I shouldn't be like that. I'm so weak. This shouldn't happen. And no, okay, I have this fear, and I'll work on it with love towards myself, as if you're doing it with your own child. So, Maria, it all started with you. How does it all sound with you now?
I'm saying just congratulations to Yvonne about the snake. I faked it. I agree. It's not that I don't agree. I agree. I still need that. It is a big step. It's not that something can easily be done, like, to change from one day to the other, for sure. And I would love to end up doing it in the end. I really hope that I'm going to end up doing it in the end. But seriously, like the snake, oh my God.
I think exactly. I have the same feeling toward the snake. Maybe the fire is easier than the snake for me.
I'll share the picture of the snake in the WhatsApp if I find it. I'll look
Yes,
for it and,
please.
to share me.
I went to Morocco 2 years ago, and I was with Francesco, and we went there for his birthday. It was my birthday gift for him. So when we went there, the only place, even if I saw from photos and I loved the center of Marrakech, we went to the mountains. We went trekking. I've never had trekking. I did it by accident. I did trekking. That was actually something that I did in the end. See? But in the city center, like in the center of Marrakech, we didn't go because of snakes. That was the only reason we didn't go. And I ended up seeing that was something that it was like I was overcome by my fear. That was like many years ago. I'm even thinking about like going and acting like the local women there, so that no one is going to understand that I am like, a tourist or something. But like I have even come like thoughts in my head, like what should I wear? If I would be wearing this, they would not think that I'm tourist, and they would think that I'm from Marrakech, and I would manage to get in the city center without seeing, having a snake on my head. Really, many thoughts, but I didn't manage to see either me or Francesco, the center of Marrakech, and I'm very disappointed because it's very beautiful.
So the point you said something important, that it's a big step. You said it's a big step, but a big step, Maria. First of all, it's a big step because we see it big, but also when there's a big step, we don't need to see it as one step. We create a little ladder to climb. We take it one step at a time. You don't need to start with a snake. You start one step at a time, one little risk at a time. And then in no time, you'll find yourself doing that. I started one round on a back of a horse. Maybe next year I'll be having a snake on my neck. I don't know. But never saying never, and never stopping. No, never stopping trying to figure out ways to overcome these fears.
Yeah.
And never be ashamed of them.
Because I regret it. And also I regret it. We regret it in the end. It's not that we don't regret it. Like I didn't manage to see a beautiful city. I saw, of course, the mountains, etc., which was amazing. But I didn't manage to see a beautiful city or, the market of Marrakech just because of my
So
fear.
regretting, Maria, is like what we learned about second guessing. What can we do with regret?
Nothing. You just need to probably in the future not close, but when you're going to overcome some of your fears, I think that you should just do it again. So maybe I should just go again to Marrakech and go to the city center. And if like a snake is going to come on my head, then okay, fine. In the worst scenario, I'm just going to faint. People will wake me up.
Yeah. So we learn, right? Because if we keep regretting and having these negative thoughts every time we think about it, it's not helpful. It doesn't help us grow. But if we
No.
say, okay, we did something not perfect, what can we do the next time? How can we learn from what we did and figure out a way and then use this as a lesson rather than as a failure, as an idea of failure? No, it's a lesson. Okay, I did that. I didn't do it perfectly. I didn't do it the way I would have wished
Yeah.
to do. And now what can I do again when this thing happened? What did I learn? So it's a step towards growth. It's not a step downhill.
And it's a step towards experiences in the end. Because if you're going to be afraid for, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, when you're going to grow old, what are you going to say that what you have done with your life? How many things are you going to regret that you haven't done?
Yeah. Or rather not using the word regret at all, right? Okay, so who else would have something to share about the first week's lessons? Thank you, Maria, for sharing this. And I hope the conversation helped you do something in the future.
Little by little. Well, I'm not going to take a snake as a pet, definitely not. But yeah. But Yvonne, well done.
Step by step. Yes.
Again, well done.
So who else have something to share about the exercises of the first week? You can step in directly.
Can I go next?
Sure.
Yeah. So I think I could resonate a lot with overcoming your fears more with experience. I think, and of course, failure. So there have been times when I've done all that was recommended, that don't immediately think of the first negative thing that comes to your mind when you're giving an opportunity that you will fail. Think positive. So I've gone by the book. I have gone with all the steps saying let's just jump into it and see where it leads you. And I have failed. So it has sort of deepened my belief that I shouldn't have taken a risk. I should have probably just gone with my gut and not gotten into something which is probably was not my forte. But I also, so I'd like to share something which has sort of validated why this approach works. I mean, I'm in a new role currently in my organization, which involves me talking to a lot of people, making a lot of presentations, being the first to start the conversation. All attributes which I never really thought I will associate with myself. I'm more of I used to believe that I'm more of a written word kind of a person. I'm not more of a speech kind of a person, but the role that I've grown into in my current organization involves me starting a lot of conversations, involves me starting a lot of impromptu conversations, leading conversations, or being responsible for the turn that those conversations take. So when I first was told that I've been sort of promoted to this role, my first reaction should have been complete happiness because I've worked for this. But the first reaction was anxiety or feeling that maybe this is too soon. Maybe I should just stick with what I have been doing well, and probably I should not take this up because maybe I might not be good at it. But so I have been speaking to a lot of friends, a lot of seniors, my mentors, my teachers about what I've been feeling. And of all the advice that they gave me, I think the one that's working, because I've been trying it out, is to consciously, when you feel some sort of negative thought nigging at yourself when you're confronted with a challenge or an opportunity, is to stop it right there. Just stop yourself from thinking. I mean, probably it's very, I don't know how to say it. Probably it sounds too simplistic, but it's worked where, where I would wake up like sweating at like 5 a.m. in the morning, thinking about what the day is going to unfold for me, and wake up with like sweaty palms, wake up with like a thudding heart, always questioning myself at 5 a.m. in the morning when I have a full day left for me, as to how I'll fail during the day because I've taken up a role which probably I'm not ready for, or probably I started reading a lot about what imposter syndrome means, where I believe that I'm not good enough, or I don't know what my bosses are thinking that they're giving me this opportunity. But what has been helping me for the past few weeks is the fact that the minute I start thinking like that, it's a conscious hard stop saying that just stop. Like, why are you thinking that it's going to go south? Why are you thinking without even trying that, you're not good enough? I don't know whether there is a formal technique or a name for this, but it works because it's almost like a me talking to myself kind of mental coaching. That's step one, where I say that, I just distance myself and say that, no, I'm not going to think the worst. Not definitely, without even trying it. The second step is to also think, saying that let's try. What will happen at the most? Okay, I might not be able to do it in the perfect way, which I think I associate myself with perfection, with doing everything to the T, without leaving any scope for blunders. Fine, I might make mistakes. I might not even be able to do it. I might fail at it. Fine, so what? But why am I doing it? Is because I'm trying to learn something new. I never thought maybe 3 years earlier that I will be doing something like this. But the fact that I have actually been given this opportunity is maybe because I have been demonstrating this without even me knowing. So if others are willing to give me a chance, why not I give myself a chance and see where it leads me? So that's the second thing which works for me, where I say that let me try, and what is the worst that will happen? And the third is the fact that when something happens as I expected it to happen in a positive way, it really pushes me 2 steps further. And when I probably fail, it only brings me down 1 step lower. So I think it helps, like the sense of accomplishment that I feel when I do something successfully. I think the drive or the zest that I get is probably much more, and it's much more than probably the sense of defeat or the sense of I don't know, the sense of disappointment that I feel when I fail. I'm still getting there. I still have my my days of self-doubt, and I still feel that I should have just taken the easy way out and probably not. There are days when I still feel I've bitten off more than I can chew, but then there are also the good days where I triumph myself. I triumph my own self-doubt, and I'm able to actually do things which I feel I am made for. Maybe this is a new phase of my life, which probably I would have never planned for myself. Because if I would have planned for myself, I would have planned for the old version of me. But maybe I'm here because it's for a reason. Maybe a reason that I am poised for some kind of growth, personally, professionally, and that's why I'm here. And yes, public speaking. So the first word that leaped out when I was reading through all the notes was glossophobia. I do get clammy palms when it comes to public speaking. I feel I stutter a lot. I feel like I'll always be judged when I speak publicly, be it in a meeting, be it in a public forum or whatever. I always feel that maybe I don't have anything worthwhile enough to say, or maybe I might be judged for what I'm saying. But I think it's also, I'm trying to find my ways to come around of that thought or belief system, wherein, say, when I'm speaking and I see someone nodding, or when I see someone, smiling, I realize, okay, I'm not making that big a fool of myself. I'm not super good, but I'm not super bad either. And I think I'm making my peace with that for now. yeah, I mean,
Thank
that's
you.
about it.
Thank you, Ashwarya. Actually, there are a few points that I want to build on here. First of all, the thought technique of being conscious of your thoughts and leaving the negative thoughts behind, or not keeping thinking about them. This is actually very important, and it is one of the most effective techniques. And I will share with you here. I'm not sure if I shared this exercise with some of you, but I would repeat anyway. It's an exercise that I learned from an American coach called Michael Neal. And it's basically built on the idea that really our thoughts are the ones that control our feelings and then control our actions. And everything, every anxiety, every emotion that we have is first starting here. And also with the idea that thinking is starting with the thought. The thought is something that we don't have control over, the thought that passes by. We don't have control over the thought that would pass by, but we do have control over the thoughts that we are thinking about in our head. So if a thought passes by and we catch it and we keep thinking about it, then it becomes part of us. And then it controls our emotions. And then it becomes a habit. And then it becomes unconscious. The thinking becomes unconscious, and we only see the symptoms of the emotions that these thoughts drive. However, we could always track back the consciousness of our thought. And this exercise is a bus exercise. And basically, when you're standing on a bus station and you want to go to a certain destination, what's the first thing you do when a bus approaches? Yes, Vidhu?
You look at the destination of the
You
bus,
look at the
right?
destination. We talked about this last time, right?
I don't think we did, no, but I
Okay,
think you
maybe-
mentioned, but yeah.
Maybe, or maybe not. So exactly, we check the sign. Where is this bus going? If the bus is going to where we want it to go, we take the bus. If it's going somewhere else, then we don't take it, right?
I'll make up the bed. I haven't made the bed.
Just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So if the bus is going to where we want it, we take the bus. If not, we don't take the bus. It's the same with our thoughts. If we're conscious of our thought, we check the thought. Is the thought going to take us to where we want to go? Does it take us to peace, to empowerment, to all
You
of these
see?
things? Let me mute Yvonne. So if the thought is going to where we want, which is empowerment, growth, and peace of mind, then we take that thought, we think about it. If it doesn't go somewhere we want to go, we don't take it. However, whom of you had ever taken a wrong bus? Can you raise your hand just to see? Have you ever taken a wrong bus? Yeah, it's normal to take a wrong bus. It's okay to take a wrong bus. But what do we do when we take a wrong bus? What do we do?
Get off at the nearest stop as soon as you realize and take a right bus back.
Exactly. So step out of the bus, hop off, right? You don't continue the journey unless you have a lot of time and you're willing to just go get lost somewhere, if that's your intention. But if you actually want to be at your destination, you'll just hop off and wait for the right bus to come. If you never hop off, you'll be stuck with that bus. That's what happens exactly with our thoughts. Now, what we usually do, which is also a bad thing, is that when we are at a wrong bus or in a wrong bus, we keep, rather than hopping off and taking an action, we'll say, why did I take this mistake? Why did I make a mistake of taking a wrong bus? The same with the wrong thought or an unuseful thought. Why am I thinking like this? I shouldn't be thinking like this. I'm here again. I'm so weak and I can't control myself. And we start criticizing ourselves, and that makes it even worse. But being peaceful about it, seeing ourselves as a human that make mistakes and it's fine. We just hop off the thought and leave it there without fighting with the thought, without fighting with the bus driver that he came. Just leave it there, hop off, and wait for another thought to come. And the nature of the thoughts, our thoughts, is that when a thought passes by and we don't catch it, it allows space for another thought to appear. But if we catch it, then thoughts of the same kind will start happening. So I'm gonna fail. Yes, I will fail miserably. Everybody will laugh at me. I might lose my job and my image and all the bad things. And then it starts being a huge horror movie in our head. But if we just leave it there and be at peace, then we could think that, yeah, this could be an opportunity for learning. This could be a good thing, yeah. Or just be actually living the moment, even without thinking positive or negative. Just live in the moment. I do everything I can do while enjoying it. And that's it. I don't even need to think that I will do great or not great. I'll just do everything I can do. And I will enjoy. And I will leave it there to God or to universe and whomever you believe in. I leave it there. What's in my hands, what's in my powers, I will do it. Otherwise, I have no control and I don't even need to think about it in any way. So living in the moment is one of the most powerful things that we can do. And I am telling this while I see myself sometimes even showering my little daughter and thinking about this client that I want to serve or thinking about this project that I want to do and then what am I doing? I'm showering my daughter. I can enjoy this moment. Thinking about it now doesn't help. Let me play with my daughter. Let me shower her. Let me read a book for her while being there in the moment rather than living in my head. So living life in our heads is taking us off life. All we can do is just live the moment and enjoy it. Yes, Anila.
I just want to add one point because being born, raised up in Pakistan as a female, as a woman, as a second citizen, always in owned your home, which was Pakistan, and now as again newcomer, outsider in Europe, and again as a female, I was always feel we'd never been taught how to be confident, how to speak out, and even I it own it. If I see my colleagues, male colleagues from Syria or from Germany or anywhere, like they are just men. I'm that's why I say I'm a very radical feminist now. They are just men, regardless where they are. Being a man is already privilege for them, and they always 10 steps ahead from us, and we always doubt ourselves, we always question ourselves, we sometimes, especially as a mother or as a female or as a household person, um, we feel guilty, like if I'm giving care to myself, it's become like guiltiness, and it's something in our South Asian culture, like sacrifice yourself first, your family and then children. That's why this, I'm saying, okay, then I am selfish now because myself is center of my life. And that's why sometimes I don't feel, last week I said, I feel alone. I feel people, uh, my own family, I grew up with my sister and brother and my own, I can't relate myself anymore with them. And it's making me isolation. If Maria, you remember, I told you, but this is, I'm saying, no, I'm a new person and I'm making path for so many followers like me, feminist followers coming from different culture to look at me. I'm learning honestly how I feel. Yes, we are unique. That's why we are alone. So that's why I want to share.
Thank you, Anila. Thank you. I would love to build on that, but also Vido, you wanted to say something, and Yvonne, you wanted to say something, right? So
Yeah,
Vido, could you?
it sort of builds on a little bit on what Anila was saying, and I think this point around living in the moment. So I had an experience probably about 8 or 9 years ago where I took on a role, and it was a really difficult job, probably the hardest job I did, and certainly at the end of it, rather than building my confidence and feeling like I'd achieved something, I felt like a real failure, and it's taken me a long time to overcome you know, and believe in myself again and my capability. So whilst I agree that there is something about, you know, living in the moment and controlling what you can control, I also think there's something about understanding where other people have let you down. Because if I think about why it was, if I think about that particular project and, you know, all the challenges it faced, yes, there were things I could have done different. And there were probably things that I could have improved on, but I also look at the surroundings, and the environment I was in wasn't really an environment in which somebody would succeed. So I do think like there is a balance between living in the moment, living day to day, being at peace, but also, you know, there's just a little bit of me going, hang on a minute, if I just did that and I didn't voice my concerns, I didn't stand up for myself, then actually it maybe would have been worse than what it was. You know, now I can be at peace with that particular, like I've made my peace with it. But it was important that I spoke out. And I don't know how you balance those two things. Like I'm really interested in people's thoughts on how you balance that thing about being at peace, but also when you see something being done that's wrong, calling that out.
I think this is very important, Vidhu. When you see something that's done wrong and you voice it out, wouldn't that be also doing something in the moment? Because you've seen something and you're trying to have things around you work better, be better, or be resolved, right?
I guess, I mean, so in my case, it took me a long time to build up the courage to say it and to see it. For a long time, I thought it was me. I was like, oh, good, these are my failings. You know, I'm the head of this project. It's not going the way it should be going. It took me a long time to realize that actually, maybe I did everything I could have done. And it got as far as it did get because I did everything I could have done. But the people around me didn't support me. You know, sometimes your success isn't just you, it's also the team around you. And then obviously you stop and you learn, and you know, you do the thing about, okay, next time I take on a project, I'm going to stop and really think about who do I want to be around.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's the thing though, isn't it? It's this opportunity to learn. One of the great things about work before I became self-employed, I was managing somebody who was a passive aggressive, and I didn't know what a passive aggressive was. And every time I had supervision meetings, I'd say, "How is everything?" "Oh, everything's fine." "Do you need support?" "Everything's fine." And meanwhile, she was undermining the very core of the work, constantly undermining in any which way she could. I managed to supervise her out of the job, but you know, but every time we had a meeting, it was, "I'm fine, I'm fine," you know, pass it. And I never knew, you know, and I learned so much. I mean, it's made me paranoid about having administrators since, but I've learned, you know. So sometimes it's nothing more, no matter how harrowing it is. I've had some harrowing life experiences. It's so often an opportunity to learn, and we just have to chalk it down to that. Because no matter what, or no matter how harrowing, there are lessons in there for us, you know, really good lessons as well. That's what I'd like to contribute to that.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you so much for that. And I would like, I would let you, Aggie, just to build on what Yvonne said also, because we categorize everything, I feel, in two categories only: failure or success. If it's not a success, then it's a failure. But everything in between is the most important, I feel. If the project did not work out, it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that the project didn't work out. But if you did not learn anything from it, Vidhu, that's where failures happen. But as Yvonne said, if this journey is meant not to be for the project to win, but for you to win something that you can take along with you for the rest of your journey, then you've succeeded. You've succeeded this phase. Not every project we take, I can definitely, and I'm sure most of you would see that, because most of you are very diverse in their focus and all your occupations. It never happens that every project we take will end up succeeding. But we grow. And as long as we keep growing, it means we are winning. we're winning. And that's the journey of life. The journey of life is not about black and white. It's not about the end destination. It's always about the journey itself. If you learned and learned and learned and learned and you grew, then you're today here and much higher than yesterday. And it's about what you take with you, as Yvonne said. And I think that's what, in the midst of it, directly at the end of the result of the project itself, we forget to isolate ourselves from the project. And we become too attached to the result. Did the project succeed or not? If it didn't, and I'm the one responsible, then I lost, I failed. It's not that the project did not work out, it's I failed. And here becomes the challenge of who did it, or where were the lessons? What can I take out of it? And it becomes more, why did I do things wrong? What are my failures, rather than what can I do better in the future? No, what did I do wrong in the past to blame myself for? Or what did other people do wrong in the past? So who's responsible for this failure? But I think a growth mindset is really focused on how can I do better later on? Maybe I don't recruit these people. Maybe I spot them directly now. I know the characteristics of these people who will lead to that. And I can see them directly and I can deal with them better. So all of that are part of the journey. And Aggie, you wanted to say, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that at times it's even beyond us as individuals. We haven't failed, but the institutions we're working with have failed us. Because I remember being as a gender advisor, it was very easy for the institution I was working for to put it down on paper. But when I have to do my work and I bring out and I give it to them, this is what is happening in the institution, then they say, you're being too hard, tone it down. If I write a report when I come back, tone it down. And I say, why should I tone it down? Because this is what is happening. So we're at the point when I said, I'm out of here. Yes, maybe I could have thought, well, Aggie could have hung on in there. But looking back, I think maybe if I've hung down in there, I would have become part of the institution and I wouldn't be holding to say this is not correct. So at times, maybe you flip to say, was it me or was it the institution? Yeah.
Thank you, Aggie. And I think because the institution is human, just looking at it from that perspective, I feel always is very helpful. Humans are weak sometimes, and humans have their own thoughts, and humans live in their head too long sometimes. Not only us, also other people. Humans make mistakes, and humans sometimes are trapped in these mistakes, so they don't come back to awareness. Not everybody seeks awareness like you ladies. So just bringing it down to that level of seeing that, yeah, some people are weak and some people had bad childhood that they're stuck with now, and some people had wrong ideas of life and how life works, and most of the people are messed up internally. They don't understand how to be good citizens of the world and empower themselves and other people around them. So if we are in these situations, I find it very helpful for me, rather than kind of blaming. And I know that you don't, ladies, mean blaming, but it's just saying from my experience, rather than really blaming, seeing the humans there, maybe empathizing and see, can I change or not? If I can change anything, if I'm willing, if I desire to try to make a change, then I do it. If not, I leave. Leaving is peaceful. It's just making peace with myself. I don't want to be in this environment. And it could even sometimes it's not even an organization. Sometimes it's a group of friends. As simple as people around us. If the people are too messed up inside and they start making problems and making issues for us and putting obstacles in our lives and keep blaming us maybe and putting too much stressed on us or load on us emotionally, then we see, do I care about this person so much? Yes or no? Can I help this person in any way? Yes or not? And based on that, I decide, do I want to hang on or leave and just seek my peace? I wouldn't blame them for who they are because they have their own challenges. It's enough what they are in. They're already creating a bad environment for themselves, a bad life for themselves. They don't need another negative energy coming from me, blaming them for it. But I just seek my own peace, and that's it. And that would free me from all the negative thoughts and emotions and memories of that era or of that time of my life, of that part of my own journey. And I can go on freely with less weight on my shoulders. It's okay. And I move on. Or no, I care about this person. I'll hang on and I'll try slowly to help them see something. So it's up to us again. Remember, it's up to us to decide whether or not we're impacted by what other people do. It needs practice. We have our own habits of grasping everything that comes to us from the outside and put it all on us and label ourselves and have all of these thoughts and anxieties and stress and all of that. But we can build another habit of letting go. People are messed up. This is the nature of people, and until they are aware, but not everybody gets this chance to be aware. Not everybody have the strength to be aware. But if this is our journey, if this is what we want for ourselves, then we just have peace with it. How is it for you, Vido?
I mean, so, you know, it's really interesting hearing people's experiences because, so, you know, from that experience, I took the sort of person I wanted to be and the sort of project or the director of the department I wanted to be. And, you know, the team I lead at the moment are doing really well because what we do is we celebrate failure. And so on Monday, every Monday, we have a meeting where all 35 of us get together. And at the end, I leave them with a bit of a message. So actually, this week's message is building on, you know, you have to fail to succeed. Like, that's the thing. We've really celebrated that this year, really embraced that learning of what is it that we've taken from things that haven't gone so well. And it's paying off in bucket loads. You know, the guys are doing a brilliant job. But at the time, it was a painful lesson to learn. You know, I have to say, like, it's, as I say, you overcome it, but it takes a while and you have to work at it. It doesn't just happen. It's you know, yeah, it's taken a good few years of reminding yourself, oh, you know, maybe this was it. This was it. Like, and you put it behind you. What can you take? And yeah.
And it's very understandable. First of all, if we take back the example of the bicycle, when you fall and you hurt your knee and you have blood, it's painful. That's part of the journey. Yeah, it becomes painful, but when you do it more often, you become more resilient to pain itself. So it's less painful the next time and the next time and the next time, and that's how we build our own muscles and power, a strength. So it's okay that it took time, but you know for sure that next time it won't take that much, right? Yeah. So we have less than half an hour left, and I'm loving the conversation here and hearing from all of your stories and journey. So who would like to go next? Who have another experience of failure or an insight that you got out of the lessons you've taken or even this conversation? I had also, I wanted to build on something else from Aishwarya, but okay, Yvonne, please go.
Yes. One thing I have as well is fear of success.
Mm-hmm.
And especially around, I'm trying to get the light so you can actually see me. Yeah, fear of success is also an issue. I think it's tied to imposter syndrome and who do you think you are? Yeah. So that's
How does it
that's a
feel?
huge struggle.
How does
Pardon?
it feel for you? How does it feel for you, and how does it impact your life?
You not stepping into your greatness, not doing things that you might have done, or showing up in certain spaces in a particular way.
What's the story in your head? What would happen if you succeed?
I don't know, I'm processing. I don't know, I'm just processing, you know. I think with each journey you lose people, you know, you lose people and you meet new people, you know. It's about coming out of your comfort zone, my comfort zone, and not knowing what would not knowing, yeah, not knowing what would be there. So yes, I'm in the process of stepping out of a lot of that, but it has been an issue and it has held me back in the past.
What's success for you, Yvonne? If you would
I don't
define it?
know. I suppose it's success is a small increments. You know, for me, it isn't any one big thing. It's incremental. You know, you push through one challenge, you push through another, you push through another until you find the best version of yourself. And I don't think there is any end point to finding the best version of yourself, because it's a bit like doing self work and doing self development is like peeling an onion, in my experience. So until the day that I'm constantly trying to be the best version of myself. And each time you have to push through, I have to push, let me own this. And each time I have to push through my comfort zone to get to the other side. And so, yeah, but I think the fear of success is becoming a bit less, but it does exist for me. And I didn't always have the words for it. And because I didn't always have the words for it, I self-sabotaged a lot in my early career when I had the energy and strength to achieve a lot of things in terms of my work and financial success, actually. I didn't have the language for it, I didn't have the words, didn't have the definition even. But retrospectively, I kind of now know. So I just wanted to add that.
So now when you say it stops you from stepping into things, and does it mean, because you mentioned the onion, does it mean it stops you from peeling the onion? Continuing to
Not for
peel?
me, because I'm committed to peeling. So I peel.
So what's the part that you don't do? If success is like peeling an onion and becoming the best version of yourself, then what's the fear of success is stopping you from doing?
I suppose it used to. I don't know so much now. I think now I'm not sure. I think at the moment I'm working through stuff. It just takes time. It's also, for me, it's not intellectualizing everything, and I'm getting my feelings in touch with what's going on. I think I intellectualize too much, you know, and so if I can't see the actual intellectual point to this, I can't, you know. So for me, it's coming out of my head. One of the things that would help me a lot if I came out of my head a bit more. It'd be really helpful.
Exactly. So first of all,
So that's a struggle.
I love the idea of peeling the onion, because if you define success like peeling, and you said something, it's also that it's infinite peeling, right? So you don't reach a point where now you have something. No, you keep peeling as long as you're alive. And as long as you're peeling, then you're succeeding, right?
Yep.
So whatever you do for the sake of peeling is success. And I think here that we put a lot of weight on success sometimes, that it becomes scary, and then we have the fear of success. Because when we see success as purely peeling, that's what we do. as
Yeah.
people who want to become better and better. But if we see it that, okay, and what I want to be successful is to have a lot of money and then to have this image and to have this name and to have this, then we stop looking at the journey and we're just having this destination that we push ourselves toward in with any force, and then we decide, no, I don't want this because it's not joyful anymore.
I think for me, I was committed to keeping myself small, and so that's how it manifested itself. So before I closed my limited company, if I had 3 contracts and I was offered a 4th, I said no, I can't take on a 4th. I've got 3 already. So that's because just in case I don't perform, because perfectionism was also an issue. Just in case I don't perform at the same level, having 4, and then I've got to bring on more staff, and then I've got more people to manage. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no. Do you know what I mean? Whereas today, obviously, I would take a totally different attitude. But back then, yes, no, it's no, I can't. So that's what I mean. Yeah.
So the level of your awareness is definitely getting higher and higher of
Yeah.
own actions. And you
Yeah.
mentioned something that you're in your head. So if you step out of your head too often, and here I would actually, for all of you, including myself, to do the exercise of the bus first. Try it out. When there are thoughts that are not helpful, that don't take you to your destination. So what do you commit to yourself? Do you commit to growth? Do you commit to peace? And if the thought doesn't take you there, then just leave it. Hop out with your own awareness. Hop out without fighting with the thought, without saying, here we go again.
Well, yes, sorry. Yesterday in doing the drive, I had to keep saying to myself, "You can do this. You've got this. You can do this. It's going to be absolute." Every time my heart came into, even just talking about it this morning, my heart, I had started having palpitations. I'm not even anywhere near going on the motorway. I started having palpitations. I know I'm going to have to do breath work and self-talk before I even get on the motorway when I'm ready to go back up. But the point is, I kept saying to myself, "This is absolutely fine. You're going to be absolutely fine. No problem. You've got this. You can do this. If not today, then when?" I had all these things I kept saying to myself the whole journey down. Every time I got anxiety ridden, "You got this. You're fine. You're absolutely fine." And I went up to 80 miles an hour, and I'm like, "You got this. You can do this. Absolutely, you got this." Yeah, I had to keep saying it to myself. Otherwise, God knows what would happen.
This is amazing because what were you doing literally is not giving a chance for a negative thought to even occur.
I couldn't. On the motorway, I couldn't. Yeah, that would be too much of a risk. I had to. For me, this is a huge breakthrough for me on so many levels.
Yes, it's not only a lesson of the motorway. You didn't only gain the motorway drive. Yeah, and this is a great example, Yvonne, that we can all take with us in our own lives. Yes, when we know that we need to do it, there's no way out, then we find a way. We figure it out for ourselves. But when we are in our kind of comfort zone, we allow ourselves to be weaker by having all of these negative thoughts and then living in them and not pushing or just being stressed and all of these things. We allow it for ourselves because we don't trust ourselves that we can get out of it, but we don't feel the urgency of having to do something. Like there's no other way out.
That's the point. Urgency. Because I could easily drive to the car park as I usually do, park the car, get the train. I love trains. I do love trains. Get the train and come in the usual way. Urgency. That's the point. I had to create that. I created the urgency for myself around the trip. There's no urgency, but I created it.
Exactly. And when you created it now, it's like any kind of training. In the beginning, you kind of have the urgency. You're pushed to do something, and then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes the normal thing. If our mind is used to what you did is amazing, actually a great lesson, Yvonne, because if your mind is having a habit of thinking in a certain way, now you push it to the complete other direction, you're kind of steering it out of that direction. So now you have a route. You created a little habit that you can build on.
Yes.
So when
that's the intention. Yeah.
Exactly. When you go there the next time, no, you see, I see you. I go here. This is my route. This is amazing what you're doing. And even with the drive today, I hope also out of this conversation, you will be even more empowered because you know that you can do it. Each one of us, if we were stuck in a situation and there's no help, we know we can get out of it. But we mostly take the easy way out of just being in our comfort zone or leaning on someone and so on and thinking that we cannot. No, I just can't. But if I had to ride the horse to rescue my daughter from something, I would have jumped on it and did it without thought. But because it's not urgent, because we just can give ourselves the luxury of just thinking negatively and thinking I cannot do it, I just can't, and nothing will happen, and we don't. And that's about building the muscles, really. We just need to keep pushing the limits a little bit more and a little bit more, and that's the peeling you're mentioning.
Step by step, little by little, small success, small wins. I think are what are important. The small wins,
exactly,
and then it has a cumulative effect over time.
Yes, and our borders, rather than thinking we are here and we want to be here all of a sudden, no, we're just getting bigger and bigger until our borders get wider and wider and wider and wider. That's the point. So it's not 0 to 1 directly.
It's so interesting because I think earlier on, I think Aggie was saying that she's afraid of water. I've not been afraid of water, but I've never considered myself a good swimmer. And so when I was 38, 39, I said, right, I'm going to fix this because the only way to fix it is by swimming, by getting into the pool. And I didn't take lessons, but I joined the swimming club, and I didn't realize at the time, but the people who swim with that club are all professional, like they're athletes, and they swim a lot. And here was poor little me trying my best to do like 2 lengths or 3 lengths of the pool. I won't be able to compete at their level, but that's not the level I'm aiming for. But now I can swim 40 lengths, 50 lengths. And 2.5 years ago, I never would, just never, it wouldn't have been me. It was something I didn't consider. So since then, I've given myself the challenge that once a year, in a year, at some point, I'm going to ask myself to do something that I wouldn't normally do, just a test. Will I do it? Won't I do it? I don't know. I might achieve it. I might not. But that point around incrementally building, is a bit of a thing.
Amazing. That's amazing, Vidhu. And here's also another point from what Vidhu said, is that people who were swimming in the pool were athletes. If you compared yourself with them, you would have been easily discouraged.
Oh, even now I am sometimes. I just look at them and they make it look so easy. And it's so simple. Yeah.
And that's what we do in life. We see Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and whomever who got so much support, and this was their life when they were children, and other public speakers who were amazing, and they make it seem seamless. And then we think, okay, no, that's me, I can't do that, I will never reach that far. But we forget that they also started step by step. Maybe they accelerated because of other conditions that were happening around them, but nobody started from the top. Everybody started from the very beginning. But if we compare ourselves with others, then we would easily feel like a failure. And that's why I really believe in myself that the true success is being better than yourself yesterday, is not winning competitions with people. We are in this life with a competition with ourselves. And the only failure we can do is to be in the same place, let alone going down. So rather than seeing where people are, what did they achieve, why are they doing this, and it's normal, it's very human, it happens. The idea passes by our head that why them, not me, or they are so successful, it's because they're like that, and because I didn't get this opportunity, people did not teach me this, my family did not teach me this, my country had so many limitations, my this and that and that and that. It's easy for us to keep looking at people and do the comparison and then feel either we are weak or that we are misfortunate. We don't have what they have to become like them. So I'm poor, I'm weak, nobody's helping me. But in this life, everybody has his own unique journey. No two journeys of people in this life, of all the 7 billion people. No two journeys are 100% alike. So if you just see it like this and see that this is my journey, this is my own path. And as long as I'm growing in my competition with myself, with love, as long as I'm growing, then I'm truly succeeding. And what everybody else thinks doesn't really matter. What truly matters is what I think. If I see myself as a failure, then yes, I am a failure. If I see myself as a success, I am a success. But if I also see myself that I'm enjoying life and I'm at peace and I'm not living for a certain destination, I'm living for the purity of enjoying life and helping other people do the same, then it becomes entertaining. It's like you see children playing video games, or even adults playing video games. Yeah, they want to reach the top level, but it's about the journey, it's about the excitement. Yeah, let's play together, let's do this together. And then from step to step to step, and then they go back to the beginning and they keep doing, they keep playing, they keep enjoying. And they scream and they shout and they do all of these things. And even if they lose, oh, I lost, but then they go back again to the same game, to do the same thing. But we forget that this is our own nature, is really to enjoy it. We can be frustrated a little bit and have all the adrenaline coming out and all of these things, and it's okay. But it doesn't become a stress for us that, oh, I did not succeed in this. Oh, there were these villains that came and did not allow me to achieve my goal. And no, it's just part of the game. It's part of the journey. And the only thing I can do for myself is to grow while enjoying the process. So ladies, thank you so much for this very rich conversation and insights and stories from all of you. And in our last 8 minutes, I would like to hear from you, what kind of takeaways did you get from this conversation, from each one of you? And whomever wants to go first, or I choose. Okay, to be efficient, I will be choosing Maria, because we started with you.
Yeah. Well, I think that every person who spoke about her insights, her fears, risks that they took, I think that I would get something from everybody. I don't think that I would, because I think that in a way or another, maybe the stories are different, but the center is the same to how we feel like in our daily lives and the fears that we need to face. Some of us, they're way ahead of us, and they have managed and they have started doing things in order to change their own lives to be more successful, facing some of the facts that other of us are not ready yet. But I think that I would take as an example all of these women who spoke, and I would like to, like, I have saved it in my head, because I think that I don't think it's only us. I think it's everywhere. And maybe I don't think that it's only concentrated on women. Maybe it's also concentrated on men. It's just that things appear to us like that, so that in the end we're going to think that it's just us out there. That's my thoughts.
Thank you very much, Maria. That's powerful. Exactly. We think when we are weak, we think we're isolated and everybody else is so strong. But we
Yeah.
forget that actually everybody has his own weaknesses, no matter in which level they are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think even Queen of England, she has her own weaknesses. The difference is that she has other people that she puts in front of her when she feels like scared, so they're kind of like protecting her.
Exactly, exactly. So, Anila, thank you, Maria.
Well, as I said, I will not say I'm ahead of all of you, but because of I always say I felt sometime I went through some black hole. So my life, which was holding in South Asian culture with so many limitation, but I scale up. Why, how, I still don't know, because I born in a very conservative family, and where I am is like different. I have so many opportunities, but I'm being stopped to get this opportunity, so in Pakistan I was not given any opportunity, so I was grabbing, but here I saw like there are so many opportunity, and myself I feel I'm fit, but I'm being stopped. No, you are a refugee, you do not speak Dutch, you don't have. So it's complex for me to explain, but it's like I'm happy I'm have this question, even if you have right question in your head, it means you're on track. So maybe I don't want to sound like overconfident, but yes, we are confident women leaders for the future.
Yes. And I would even assume, Anila, that the sense of urgency that we were talking about, you had it more often than many of us, perhaps. So you kind of built you had to build muscles even with a more rapid speed, perhaps, because of everything you went through since you were a child. And that's the story of every single person. It's not really, we are not in the same scale to even see who's in which level. Everybody is in his or her own scale, but you're seeing the challenges of today, and next year you could see them completely different than how you're seeing them today. Last year, I'm sure, or 2 years ago, your challenges were completely different than today. And that just shows your own growth, because you're in the next level and the next level and the next level of the journey of your own life. So even when people are stopping you, now this is working even more rapid to figure out other innovative ways of figuring it out. Not the easy ways of finding opportunities. Now the opportunities are there and other people are stopping you because of challenges, and you have to figure it out. So again, enjoying the journey is the key, not being frustrated with it. Thank you so much, Anila. Yvonne. Yvonne?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So, takeaways.
Well, it was very affirming to hear other people's stories, and it also for me kind of was affirming for me also to find that success isn't one big thing. It's a series of things, small things, cumulatively. And I was thinking also that this course has supported the motorway drive. Nothing is in isolation to other things we're doing in our lives. And doing the exercises, of course, make you think. And so I feel having enrolled on this course, it's also opening me up to these things I talked about. Because the course is all about challenging ourselves, right?
Yes.
And so if I'm going to challenge myself about public speaking, then why not challenge myself about this thing with this bloody motorway drive, excuse my language, motorway driving that's been plaguing me forever as something that I can't do, So I think I've probably done the motorway drive before I've done the talking. Based on the tutorials. So that's hilarious. But yeah, and I dare say there may well be other breakthroughs because we're not in isolation, are we?
Exactly.
So thank you for the course and thanks for enrolling me and so on and so forth. I'm happy to be here and receiving the benefits already.
Thank you so much. And thank you for seeing it this way and seeing it that deep, because this is exactly the aim of all of this, is not only to get to talk, but to understand ourselves more and push over the limitations that we put for ourselves. So thank you for putting it in action so soon. And this is, we are living it directly, all of us with you. So it's a great example for today. Thank you, Yvonne. Aishwarya?
Yeah, I think I really like the fact that you grow one learning at a time, and it's up to you to define how small or big you want that learning to be. It's really up to you to define the pace of how soon or how delayed you want to take up new things, or I think it's all about different journeys. And if you, the way you define success or a breakthrough for you, if you're able to achieve it, then good for you. And I think it's also important to celebrate those wins. Often in journeys, we often tend to see ourselves as warriors, and we're always poised to fight or to flee. But very rarely, I feel, and I probably from the experiences that I see around me, that very rarely do we actually even dwell on the triumph. That okay, we've achieved it, but before it even sinks in, we're already gearing up to oh, there are many other challenges that we need to sort of stay poised for. So I also feel it's important to acknowledge the fact that you have triumphed, you have gone from stage 1 to stage 2, and celebrate that, because I mean, no one else will celebrate it but you, because you know how important that breakthrough was for you, right? And I think we probably seconding what even Anila said, that as women, we often don't tend to acknowledge ourselves for a lot of things. Probably because others haven't really viewed that as something to be acknowledged for. But I feel that it's also being cognizant about the fact that the simplest of things, which might look as probably a very mundane thing for the world, it might be something very, very important for you. To even to acknowledge that, recognize the fact that for the world it might be a simple thing, but for you it's actually been something that you've won over, or you've addressed, and you've fortified yourself to make that journey, from a point of feeling disempowered to feeling some sort of empowerment. And I think it's very important to acknowledge those kind of, acknowledge, celebrate, share. I think this sharing today has been really very enlightening, because all of us have had different journeys, right? And it's very interesting to see that at the core everyone wants to be better versions of themselves. And I think that's as good as a start as there is, because you acknowledge the fact that you are hungry for growth. You define the growth, you define the pace, you define the process, but you're there. You want to do something different, and be someone different than what you are, maybe a better version of yourself or a different version of yourself. So I think that's it's been a good, lovely conversation.
Thank you, Aishwarya. And it's very important to mention that. Thank you for mentioning the celebration of our triumph that we usually forget to do, and we just go to the next challenge. So this is important for all of us. Vidu?
So for me, I think just everything's been great. I've really enjoyed the discussion this morning. Made copious amounts of notes. I think one of them that really stands out for me is living in the moment and not in your head, and really trying to work out what that means, because part of being on a journey of self-growth is thinking about your behaviors, your actions, reflecting on how you improve and what you've learned. So that's going to be something I'm going to be thinking about, is how you live in the moment, not in your head.
Yes. And this is very important. Thank you also for bringing this out, because sometimes living in the moment, when we are in a brainstorming session, living in the moment, it means we are also in our heads, but while being in the moment. So that's the moment for that, for thinking, for planning, for learning lessons, like the exercises you've done during the week. You had to be in your head, but that's the time is created for that. But when we're doing something else, we need to be also in the moment, focusing on that thing. But also it gets or it becomes more clear with practice how we experience it ourselves. Aggie, Thank you, Vido.
Well, my takeaway is just appreciation for all the sharings that have taken place today. As I said in the WhatsApp group, I'm a bit behind. So I haven't really, this is my first interaction, and I've enjoyed listening to stories, people's experiences, and it just makes me feel the urgency of more documentation of women's experiences, especially for the young women that are coming up, because they should know that other women have gone through what they're experiencing and there's nothing to be afraid of. So that's my takeaway.
Thank you very much, Aggie, and thank you for joining us, although you were not able to take the lessons. But I hope that you will be able to catch up for the next of the week, or for the next week and the weeks to come. And this is for all of you ladies. Tomorrow, inshallah, you will have the next lesson open, and you have a new week. You take your time. Next week we will be speaking, so it will all be about speaking, but you will see that it's all built up on each other. So I look forward to seeing you. If there's anything that you're challenged with during the week, you write it on the WhatsApp group, and I look forward to it. How about one last photo together? Are you ready? Okay. Okay. Have a nice week and see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.